Okay. A very good evening to all our attendees and viewers who are watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. A very warm welcome to the Author Saga series. A quick recap for those of you who are new to Pick a Book. Pick a Book is all about reading and more reading and inculcating the habit of reading, research, and presenting the summary of it in our regular meeting sessions. Creating a better world by changing the sense of self through the habit of reading is the vision of Pick a Book. Currently, Pick a Book marked its inspiring presence in four countries, Sri Lanka, India, Singapore, and UK, with over 1,200 plus readers, 18 plus regions, and 100,000 plus people inspired through our sessions, all in just a span of 1.5 years. So, Pick a Book continues to spread its wings across the globe, and we have come up with this beautiful initiative, a brand of our own called our Author Saga series, wherein the authors can reach their readers and individuals with like-minded interests. Authors can also discuss the key insights of their books, and readers can have this wonderful opportunity to know more about the book from the author herself or himself. But today, ladies and gentlemen, the author is not there, but then the author's daughter is going to speak on behalf of the author, and this is going to be a special series today. And let's welcome Provina and Vandana.
Hi.
Hi. Hello,
Hi,
everybody. Very good
very
evening.
warm welcome to both of you.
Thank you
Very
so
warm
much.
welcome. Yeah, like
Thank you
I've
so
said,
much.
it's going to be a special series today. Yes, we have got Pravina, the author of. We're talking about the author, by the way. She is late Zora Margaret Chaube, and she has written this beautiful series of books. I would say, A Gift from Grandma, if I'm not wrong. It's a series, right? It's a series of four books.
Three books.
Three.
Three
Three
books.
books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the title is A Gift from Grandma. Such a wonderful title. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a book itself if I go through her bio. So so let's take this. Yeah, I'll take this opportunity to speak more, to know more from her daughter, rather, and I'll just give you a small intro about Zora G. Yeah, she is like, she is born to a Bora father who converted to Christianity, and then, a Sunni mother. And then, she also, she attended a Christchurch High School in Jabalpur. Her journey started in Jabalpur, and I don't know, it went on to different places, later on to Lucknow, and then, yeah, and then Mysore. I think it's ended in Mysore. Is that so? Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
second last stop was Mysore. The final stop was
Okay.
Pondicherry, Oroville.
Fun. Oh, okay. Good. Okay, she founded this beautiful organization called FAT, like it's a fellowship and talents group in Mysore in 1972, and she also set up a Mysore Music Association along with the then Maharaja of Mysore, and then she also, has during her tenure as a president of Ladies Circle, she organized health camps and many occasional trainings for single and widowed women and helped them to find a work. And she, as a woman, accomplished a lot. And I'm surprised, she has done her, Master of Education at the age of 42, and she topped the university, being a gold medalist. So that was an incredible achievement. Pravina, I'm so impressed to know about that. That's where I've stopped and read it again, I would say. Awesome. She has been a wonderful wife, a wonderful mother, and she has been a wonderful woman all in all, and a wonderful human being. I don't think she left any role, just like that, and she has completely fulfilled every role of hers. Okay, so now let's get to know more about Zoraji from the words of her own daughter. Okay, and yeah, to start with, Pravina, I mean, to talk about the Zoraji, was she an avid reader? I mean, does she
Oh
read a
yes,
lot of books?
yes.
Hmm.
She was very interested in reading.
Okay.
Books, yes, but more magazines and journals, articles that were woman and child related.
Mm,
She preferred contemporary literature and wanted to get involved in as much to do with children and women. So
awesome.
that was her kind of her genre of reading.
Okay. Okay. So we would like to know more about your mother's background. Since the father converted to Christianity, while her mother was a
Ah,
Sunni.
okay. No, no, no.
Yes.
Actually, yeah, my grandfather actually had to run away from home at a very young age
Okay.
because his mother was remarried to his chacha, which was the custom in those days because he lost his father when he was very young. And he and the chacha couldn't get along, and the chacha was very cruel to him. Uh,
Okay.
so he beat up the chacha one day and he thought he'd killed him, so he had to run away.
Oh.
So he ran away, and that's another story by itself. But he eventually found himself in America, where he spent
Hmm.
a number of years. And he had been taken in by African American family over there.
Okay.
And while he worked during the days, he worked on the railroads. He
Hmm.
used to attend school and college at night and eventually ended up with a PhD from Princeton in theology because
Okay.
this black family used to go to church every Sunday and he would hear the music.
Hmm.
And just out of curiosity, he wandered into the church and he was completely overwhelmed
Okay.
by you know, the sense of community and the camaraderie that he found over there.
Okay.
So, to cut a long story short, he converted to Christianity and then went
Hmm.
on to do his PhD in theology. And he was also a polyglot. He spoke 7 languages.
Okay.
He met my grandmother in America. She was in Columbia University doing her master's,
Hmm.
and they fell in love. And she didn't want to come back to India, and
Okay.
he could have got a job, in America and any one of the missions, whatever, but he chose to come back. My grandmother herself is from a Christian background. Her parents converted. In fact, she's an older Christian than he is,
Okay.
except that he came from a Shia Bohra background and she came from a Sunni background from a
Hmm.
combination of Afghanistan and Lucknow.
Okay.
So he wanted to come back to India because he wanted to, do his evangelical work here. So
Hmm.
he returned much against her, her will, to Jabalpur, where he was offered a job
Hmm.
as the principal of the Leonard Theological College.
Okay.
So, and now, at that point, they had their 4 children at Leonard Theological College, and things were great because they had this fancy bungalow and stuff and blah blah blah. So they grew up in the lap of luxury,
Hmm.
so to speak. Um, but then he said that, look, I want to spread the word of God, and I don't want all this fancy life and stuff. So he then quit his job and instead chose to become a padri in the Methodist Church in Jabalpur.
Okay.
So they all moved into the parsonage of the Emmanuel Methodist Church. And that's basically where my mom grew up. And they were, I mean, they lived in the church premises. He was a padri. It was a very, very strong Christian upbringing that
Okay.
they had. And my grandmother, because a padri's wife was not allowed to work in those days, she couldn't hold a job. She had to
Hmm.
just, work with the congregation of the church. So she spent a lot of time teaching children, dealing with women's issues,
Okay.
trying to train women. So I think my mom got it from her.
Her mom. Yeah.
Yeah. So right from the beginning, I mean, from the time I remember when I was born,
Hmm.
I always saw her reaching out to women and children. Okay.
Hmm.
And she used to write and she used to paint. She was an incredibly talented woman. She used to play the piano like an angel. I mean, she used to
Wow.
play in the church all the time. So she was multi-talented. So she was very out there. Everybody in
Hmm.
Jabalpur knew Zohra Yusufji. Um, she did extremely well in school, and she started writing at that age. But at that time, there was, publishing was like a distant dream. You had to be
Yeah,
either in Bombay or Delhi, and they didn't have access. And when
true.
my grandfather became a padri, they were on starvation wages. So things
Hmm.
were really, really difficult. And so, therefore, when she got into Isabella Thoburn College to do her BSc, she went on a scholarship, full scholarship. Otherwise, they couldn't have afforded the college. And to earn her keep, she would have to cut the bread for breakfast for the entire college, and
Okay.
set the table and do stuff like that to earn her keep.
Hmm.
Uh, so even there, I mean, she excelled in college on every front, and
Okay.
she joined the Christian Youth Foundation, and in fact, she represented India at the I think it's Perudunia University in Sri Lanka.
Hmm.
So they came for a conference there, and she spent 2 beautiful weeks in Sri Lanka.
Sri
So
Lanka.
ironical
Okay.
that we're having
Yeah.
this connection is almost revived again.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a bit about her
Wonderful.
background.
That was great. Okay. So I know, I mean, she has a tough background at the same time, she has been a very multi-talented person, right from the very beginning of her life. So as we know that, she was a well-learned person and, left many opportunities to be a doctor, of starting a primary school for children. Rather she was one of her times who paid for her wedding expenses. So if is you want to share any the reason behind this and
Oh, well, my grandfather's salary
Mhm.
was such that he just couldn't afford the wedding expense on his own.
Okay.
So what she did was, because she'd fallen in love with my father, and she
Mm-hmm.
decided to get married instead of going off to CMC Vellore, she did her B.Ed instead, and
Okay.
she took on a job. While she was doing her B.Ed, she was tutoring children
Mm-hmm.
to earn a little bit of extra money. And after that, she taught. I think it was a junior school or something.
Okay.
She collected all that money, and
Mm-hmm.
she paid for most of her wedding expense.
Very
My dad
expensive.
also paid, so between them, they kind of saw it through. And then after that, together, both of them paid even for her younger sister's wedding.
Oh,
You know,
awesome.
so yeah, so it was a bit of a struggle, but when you're that
Yeah.
in love, you'll do anything.
So what was her
Right.
father like? What
Yeah.
Yeah. Pardon?
I
Yeah, yeah, please.
am I clear? My
Yeah, yeah,
voice. Okay, done.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In spite of, leading a life full of struggles and also not having a successful married life, how had she been as a mother?
She was very indulgent.
Mm.
Okay. Uh, Very strict that we didn't live by the Bible, but she did instill in us certain ways in which she expected us to be. Our behavior was very regimented. So you will do this and you won't do that. So we were very, very disciplined. And then we went off to boarding school, which was basically an old army school.
Okay.
And it was a brilliant school. It was a public school. And so, they had their own set of rules. So my brother and I were both brought up in very, very, it wasn't strict, but it was very regimented.
Disciplines way.
Yeah, very
Yes.
disciplined. She was extremely indulgent. I mean, she never ever imposed her opinion or her thoughts on us once we left the coop.
Okay.
She enjoyed watching us grow. She groomed our wings. She taught us how to fly in that sense.
Okay.
Uh, she was ambitious. She was very, very ambitious. She never actually held a formal job, but she was
Mm.
very, very ambitious about everything that she did, and she expected the same from us.
Okay.
So I remember, I think by the age of, she started the FAT in 1972. Between 70 and 72, she just
Mm.
threw herself into social work. And so I was exposed to knitting and crocheting and, cooking for kids and going to the orphanage and singing for the old people at
Mm.
Christmas. Little things that I was, well, forced to do then, and I used to really resent it because it used to make me feel, um, it used to depress me,
Yeah.
go to orphanages and old age homes and stuff, and I couldn't understand it. But she made me go through that, and
Mm.
today I thank her for it because what she did was really sensitize us to
Yes.
very, very human issues. Wow. So she sensitized us to human issues, and she basically lived by the premise that if you can say yes, don't say no. Okay. And if somebody asks you to do something and you can do it, don't turn them away. Which is a very Christianly kind of doctrine, but uh, we were doing that so much that it kind of got instilled in us too. It got ingrained in us too. So she was very, very busy all the time. She would, you know, so yeah, but I have to say she was a very, very attentive mom. So yeah.
Sure. That was beautiful. I'll just
Mm.
have this little disturbance for a
Oh,
while.
uh, oh, it's
Just
namaz time.
not much time. Yeah.
Ah,
I'm just, my house is just beside that.
oh
Just,
wow.
Okay.
okay. Okay. So
So
that's so.
basically, I must add here, she had an angelic life. She really had
Oh.
an angelic life and sort of
Mm,
stuff.
mm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But it's like hearing a story. I would like to know more and more about her, than in the Q&A format. That was so inspiring, actually. Yeah. That's what, if she would have written a biography, there would have sold millions of copies, maybe.
Yeah,
That is
yeah. It's
beautiful.
actually there's a lot of her. My She wrote two books prior to this. Okay, one is a compilation of all the poems that she'd written all through her life. Okay, it's called Captured Moments. It's a beautiful book of poems, and then she wrote another one called Bhikshu Bikari, which is it's about a little boy who is like a well, he's like yeah, I think I can't remember whether he was a beggar or whether he just lived on the streets, and how he finds Christ. It's a very sweet book, actually. um, so she wrote these while we were sometime between 1980 and 1990, when we were on the farm outside Mysore. But she never had the opportunity to publish it. But when she and my father split up in 1997, when I think she was about 60 or 61 years old, she moved back to Jabalpur because that was her safety net, her zone where her sister and her brother were. She literally fled Mysore. And when she got to Jabalpur, I told her, she pulled out her typewriter again after many, many
Okay.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you just write the books, and between my brother and I, we publish them. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, she created some publishing house, some name of some firm she just chose, and we went to a printer and we printed it basically, and then we just sold it to friends and people who knew
Yeah.
us or people who walked into the house or whatever.
Okay.
So she wrote these two,
Mm-hmm.
and for anyone who reads all her works, you'll see that she is in all of them. She
Okay.
was a larger than life character. So
Mm.
she has breathed, her life into every one of those characters. And so when I'm reading Chandan Woods at the moment, a lot of the characters are modeled around me. Uh,
Okay.
and I think my brother also features in one of the characters. But a lot of it is around me because she and I had a very, very special, the typical love-hate mother-daughter relationship. We used to fight like cats. Uh, but we were very, very close. She's lived with me for the last, she was here with me. We moved in 2003, and
Okay.
I brought her here to live with us. So
Okay.
she's had the benefit of watching her grandchildren grow. And I think that experience of growing up with her grandchildren gave her the inspiration to write that
The
trilogy of
book.
children's stories.
Awesome.
Okay.
Mm.
And she's dedicated each one to each of her grandchildren.
Okay.
So when I see her spectrum of work, uh, I see the whole person that she was.
Mm. Wonderful. Beautiful. So, how did it happen to meet Vandana in her journey? Like,
Um, well, Vandana, you want to go with that? You'll be
No,
more
no,
accurate.
you please say. No, no,
No,
you tell her.
uh, well,
Yeah,
see, Vandana, why don't you just do it? I mean, I can't remember the
okay.
exact,
Yeah, the exact, right.
the trajectory.
So when I was first approached, actually, I we published a book of a child,
mm-hmm.
12-year-old child, Aban Ansari. So we got his book published, and by chance, maybe their family, they went to spend the
Right.
vacation. They
Oh,
had the vacations there
yeah.
in Orville Resort. Yeah, right.
Okay.
So she
Okay.
had a look. She had looked at the book and she really liked that. And she asked the family to put her in contact with us, and she wanted
Mm-hmm.
that. So when she contacted us, I mean, the very first voice which came from my heart was, yes, if at this stage she can think of writing and getting the work published, why not go ahead and support her. I mean, I don't know. I just wanted her to see her happy. That's it. That was my motto. Until that time, I had not even read even a single line written by her. But somewhere at the bottom of my heart, I was very much sure that a lady of that acumen, she must have something in her. So we
Yeah.
went ahead. Yeah.
Awesome. So
So
that's how it
this is
happened.
as Pravina has been telling about the Chandan Woods, the fiction which she wrote. I would like to read 2 3 lines from that fiction, so that actually it reflects her entire personality, what kind of person she was. In those 3 lines only, we'll come to know exactly. So I'll
Okay.
just read 2 lines. Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
The story Chandanwood, it's a journey of a heroic yet tormented soul making its way through the enchanting hills of Ooty. It's a soulful story of a woman, a mother, an artist, a dreamer, a teacher, embattled by her demons, but still persevering day at a time to fight another day.
My
So, I
goodness.
mean, this in whole,
So true.
it defines her personality. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. I mean, she's put
yeah,
all her roles as well as, yeah, together.
yes, yeah,
That is
yeah,
wonderful. Wonderful.
yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, so yes, so that's how it happened. The book came into, publishing, right? So I mean, she started writing and exploring her skills, quite late in life, almost at the time of, at the
No,
time
not
what people
really.
think of retiring.
No, 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 no,
Mm.
no, 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 no. She's been writing for a long time. I
Okay.
mean, I've got that many poems of hers lying here,
Mm-hmm.
out of
Mm-hmm.
which we shortlisted. I think Captured Moments has only about 25 or 30 poems in the book.
Okay.
But she has been writing, I think, since the time she was contributing
Mhm.
articles and stuff. No published work, and she really didn't have the opportunity.
Okay.
She didn't, her career. I mean, well, not
Mhm.
career. Well, in Mysore, she was so busy with her FAT and the Mysore musician and with all the other work that she was doing. I think writing took a beat, but I think provided her the fodder and the material,
Okay.
interacting with different kinds of people and different types of circumstances. So she brought it all
Mhm.
out when she started writing. I think it was in 1981. She had completed her MEd, and then she passed on
Okay.
the opportunity to teach and to do her PhD. Instead, my dad had bought this 29-acre farm on the
Mhm.
way to Kurg,
Okay.
and it was in this remote place, a jungle. And after the day's work, there was nothing and there was nobody. So she
Mhm.
started writing then. And then life on the farm was a humongous struggle. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a wonder I was able to complete my education, because very often there was no money to buy, tomorrow morning's bread.
Mhm.
So, hats off. She stood by my dad despite everything,
Yeah.
and she kept writing.
Okay.
And it's only in 1997 when the split happened, as I said, and she went to
Mhm.
Jabalpur and she found it was a completely empty house. And
Okay.
that's when she pulled out all her work, and then we actively started,
Mhm.
publishing work and stuff. And then from 1997 onwards, she's been writing continuously. So this entire Chandan Woods novel has happened after she moved to Pondicherry in 2003.
Okay. Okay.
And for that volume of book, it does take that kind of time, I suppose, to
Yeah.
churn it out.
True,
Yeah,
true.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay. I mean, we have been talking about her, great piece of work, for FAT and Mysore Music Association. Can you just throw us some light on that?
So what happened when my dad was transferred to Mysore in 1966 or 67?
Hmm.
Again, he was in a very small village. A lot of they didn't have any social life over there because they were
Okay.
all in villages. All the tobacco wives, every
Hmm.
so often, they would get, and
Hmm.
they'd have a potluck lunch and then meet, and then they'd all sing, and then everybody goes back to their little village at night.
Okay.
And uh, from there spawned the idea that all these women were
Hmm.
just running homes, okay? And they all had young children, they all had ayahs, and they had enough domestic help to take care of it. She found that they had a lot of time on their hands. So
Hmm.
they started doing things like knitting children's clothes, doing embroidery and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then
Hmm.
when my dad was transferred to Mysore, uh, she continued with the same concept. She identified a lot of fat housewives who were doing nothing
Okay.
during the day. Okay.
Okay.
And so she took the fat and made it Fellowship and Talents Group. And
Okay.
she founded it with a couple of other ladies.
Okay.
And they used to work with orphanages and the old age home.
Hmm.
So what happened was that funding was a bit of an issue, as
Hmm.
it always is.
Yeah.
So she got into the Mysore Music Association. She founded the Mysore Music Association with Sister John DeBrito of
Hmm.
St. Teresa's Cathedral or whatever, and the Maharaja of Mysore, who himself was a concert pianist.
Okay.
And so they created the Mysore Music Association, and then it was basically to promote and support
Hmm.
children, gifted children, talented children who didn't have the opportunity to learn music.
Okay.
and then didn't have the space to perform it. So they would enable, you know,
Mm-hmm.
training, and they would actually host concerts and stuff like that. And that money would be used, also
Mm-hmm.
to, so she was doing a lot of this stuff. And
Okay.
then, of course, when she became the, I don't know whether it's called president or chairman or whatever of the ladies' circle,
Okay.
she kept hosting events and creating funding and
Mm-hmm.
knocking on the doors of rich people to
Okay.
fund the work that the FAT was.
Oneness. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
So
Beautiful.
just to ask you here, are these two associations still on? Are you working on
Amazing.
that or?
I'm so happy that you asked this question, Vandana, because
Yeah.
once Mummy moved out, she left Mysore in 1980. And then she just lost all touch because we didn't even have a telephone where we were living
Okay.
for the first 5 years. And we went back to Mysore, I think it must have been 4 or 5 years ago. We were in Bangalore and we happened to meet somebody who was from Mysore. And mummy then, of course, started talking about the good old days and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
that lady said, yeah, you know, I work with this group called the FAT,
Okay.
and we were absolutely shocked, that it still exists. And I don't know what work they do, whether the focus has changed or whether I have no idea. But yes,
Okay.
it still exists, and the Mysore
It
Music
is.
Association, I think, still does exist. Yeah,
That
Wonderful.
means in
yes,
some way her legacy is still being carried on,
Yes.
yes, it
maybe
lives
by
on.
some people.
Yeah,
That's
yes,
really
it
awesome,
lives on.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I was about to ask that. Are they still continuing it? But
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
same.
They
Yeah.
are.
Wonderful to know that. Great. Yeah, some great works actually, remain like that forever. They are remembered. In fact, I mean, Zoraji is remembered more through her writings and the work she has done, to the
Yeah.
society through her work.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so yeah. And then, yeah, as a daughter, what inspiration do you draw from her, especially from a women's point of view?
Um, Look, we're very, very different people. I have to say that up front. I'm not as hi. I think Swarna just disappeared
Yeah, must be with her camera,
with the internet.
Oh,
but
no.
but she
Hi,
is
she's
listening.
back.
Yeah,
She's back.
she's
Yeah,
there.
I'm listening. My power is, I mean, I
Yeah.
need to switch on my laptop power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Sorry.
please continue.
Sorry, I just lost my
I
train
was
of
asking,
thought.
yeah, what was the inspiration you draw,
Oh,
especially,
okay.
from your
Yeah.
mother?
Um, One is that I think uh, one thing she has taught me is to never back off from a project.
Mhm.
If you believe in something, just go for it.
Okay.
And even though my style of doing things is completely different from hers,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I think I drew inspiration from the fact that a lot of faith. Okay, her faith in her God was just unshakable, no
Oh,
matter
okay.
what she went through
Mm.
and how badly she felt let down and all that. Her faith was just unshakable. And while I'm not such a good practicing Christian and I don't go to church often enough,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think I share the same faith,
Okay.
and she always said that, look, if you believe in something, just go for it. And so I'm like a bulldozer. Once I set my sights on something, I just go for it. And I think
Okay.
I have to. She was very gutsy, very, very
Mm.
gutsy. And I think I have a reputation for being very gutsy myself. Um, if she felt if somebody was doing or saying something wrong, she would actually call them out on it, uh,
Okay.
which earned her a lot of you know, trouble and problems.
Troubles, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it earned her a lot of all that. But the fact is that she would do it. I remember once my classmates from college were visiting on the weekend, and we took them to the Nagarhole Wildlife Sanctuary for a just for a trip, for a picnic, and then
Mhm.
to go into the jungle and whatever for the safari. And we stopped at the traveler's bungalow because we needed to use the restroom, and the restroom had two doors,
Okay.
and we entered through the back door, the common
Mm.
entrance door. And it led into a bedroom, and we all used the restroom. And then one of my classmates, she suddenly looked up while she was uh, peeing, and she saw somebody watching her
Oh,
through the other
okay.
door. She was very badly shaken. She came out, and she told my mom about it. And I was, we none of us knew what to do. We didn't know how to handle it. I mean, we were all 20 years old at that time. My
Mm.
mom picked up her sari, she picked up a stick, she ran into that guest house, she caught hold of that boy, and she hammered the living daylights out of him. And it was so bad. And all of us, and we didn't help her, we were all standing around. Absolutely, I've never seen her do this, because she was never a physical. She was not the type, who would
Yeah.
physically harm and all that. I think she
Mm.
whacked me only twice in her life. But the way she hammered him, it brought that the forest officer in, and he said, "Ma'am, if you don't stop it, I'm going to have to arrest you." At
Mm.
which point she
Oh
kind of said,
God.
"Just try it." And she brandished. Oh, she brandished. Sorry, she waved the stick at him and said, in Hindi, "Tumko bhi juta marungi." So, so she was that kind of
And
person. And she was amazing. Yeah,
and
that's
and
kind of
and one example which you gave regarding yourself, that you're a bulldozer. I mean, I'm not
yeah,
really going to forget ever in my life, because bulldozer is such a vehicle that it goes straight. No left, no
you have no
right,
choice now.
nothing. Yeah, you have no choice.
Yeah, you
And
have to leave.
whosoever comes in the way, that gets crushed,
They're
that will
dead.
get
Yeah,
crushed.
yeah.
So that's
That's
a
true.
perfect example.
Yeah, especially if you're male.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, but I think that is also necessary for a woman, especially in times like this. I mean, seriously, I mean, in those days, few years we were before, the situation is still okay.
yeah,
But when at this, yeah, during this, especially, for the past few years, so it is demanding that, the situations are demanding that, we need a stronger women. We need
yeah,
we need a society with stronger women. Yeah, so like you say,
yeah,
maybe the bulldozer mindset is probably the right one to have.
Yeah,
yeah. But you
yeah,
know,
true.
you
Mm,
still need this. Like for example, in this situation, the forest officer, he
mm,
just wouldn't accept the fact that this boy was voyeuring on us. He
yeah,
kept saying, "No,
true.
no, no, rubbish," and all that, and that's when we all piled onto him. So
Mm,
yeah, you can fight, but yeah, sometimes you find yourself fighting against uh, an
true.
institution, or men who
Exactly.
just cannot accept strong women
Mm,
in any form.
yeah.
So yeah, that's yeah, the other side of the battle. Yeah,
Wonderful. So all said and done, to the limits, probably everybody have to be strong, ladies and gentlemen. The women, the whole scenario changed today. And then, yeah, the women have to be stronger, no matter
yeah,
what. Yeah.
yeah.
But of course, we have our own limits, but still, yeah.
True, true,
Good.
true.
Yeah, so coming to you, Vandana, what was your first thought when you were first approached for publication of your writings? What was your first
Yeah,
impression?
Yeah, that's what I told you. Yeah, I taking her age into consideration, I decided to go ahead with her because I knew somewhere on this journey, I'm really personally I'm going to gain something out of
Mm.
that. So I decided to go ahead. That was the reason.
That's
Yeah,
great. Okay, so how do
and
you visualize her as a woman or and as a writer?
okay, so. Yeah, when we started our work on her books, we were poles apart. I mean, she was there in Bangalore, right, Pravina? um, Bangalore. She was in Bangalore, and we were here in Delhi. But our daily rituals of calls and discussions, they remained very fruitful. Since
Mm.
within few days, we got to understand each other's temperament because maybe her age made her little fussy, and it at times it used to become a little difficult to make her understand. But then slowly I got the nerve of that, and she was very happy speaking with me and discussing, yes, her book is at this stage, the cover is being prepared, and so
Yeah.
work is done. So yes, we
Mhm.
really liked working with her. And without missing, I met her after 4 months of the publication of the books in Bangalore at the book launch. And
Mm.
I got to spend the entire day with her. And
Okay.
I took a small interview. Yeah, I wanted
Mm.
to speak with her. I wanted to know about her because through her bio, I could just make out that there is something in her life
Yeah,
which can guide us, which can be a guiding force to especially to women. So
exactly.
I spent that day with her. Her aura was like you don't one can never get tired of listening to her because she had so much in her life that it really helped. It really impacted me a lot as a person, and
Mm.
especially her, as Pravina said, her say no approach attitude towards her life, that
Yeah,
has really been, yeah. And her, especially her love towards every being. I'm not talking about the human beings, especially these animals.
animals. Yeah.
uh, Pravina, this cat must be
One of
so
six.
there. Yeah, one of the six. So when I was sitting, I could see whole lot bunch of cats and dogs around me. I was scared for a moment, but then I noticed their movements, their attitude towards her.
Yeah.
It really impacted me, and she was the kind of a person. I mean, she was a godsend person. Nothing more than that, which I can explain. I mean, about her, and lots to learn from her. Um, since she just uh, taught us that there is no age for anything. One can
Yeah.
achieve anything at any age, no matter what comes in front of you.
True.
And
True.
just to keep keeping that faith of us, we would like, as a publication, we would like to carry her legacy of writing to the wider audience as possible. And
Yeah.
the books which she has written about the children, that if any child reads that the child gets connected not only to I mean, a bit of one or two things around the surroundings, around his
Mm-hmm.
surroundings. A child gets connected to the human relations, to the natural objects like sun and stars and animals. I mean, she has written taking every thing into the consideration, maybe living or not living. That
Yeah.
I think that never mattered to her. She
Yeah.
saw life in all the things, maybe.
Everything.
That's why in
Yep.
Mm.
everything, I must say. And I could analyze her connection from her daily rituals of sending morning greetings on WhatsApp, which we usually share. What we do, we forward the messages to the people, to our friends and family and everybody.
Yeah.
But she made it a point to write a personalized morning greeting to each and every contact of hers. So
Mm.
Okay.
again, that was impactful. And
Mm.
lately, I came to know that she was in contact with some teenagers on the WhatsApp group through somebody,
Mm.
Pravina knows better, whom she used to guide, she used to motivate. And I hope and I really pray those kids are really on the right path just because of her guidance and all. So,
Yeah.
all in all, she was a complete personality as a mother, as a teacher, as a painter, as a cook. And she used to
Yeah.
share videos with me, right? On the Christmas Eve last year, she shared the video
Yeah.
with me, and really.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
So
too
that was
much
about
actually.
it.
That's yeah.
I mean, there are lots of things. There are lots of things. Pravina, I think she can go on and on and on, but
Mm.
since the time we have the time constraint,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
True. Otherwise, yeah, that's amazing. That's what I'm saying. That's I mean, while the show is going on, I was really hoping she would have written an autobiography.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's the thing.
She has literally lived the life to the fullest. Despite of she's truly set an example for everybody how to live a life. A lot of us will crib on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Despite having so many facilities around us, we still feel that we're not blessed with something. That's
Right.
cribbing is
Her
always
Right.
there.
writings her writings actually reflect her thought process. Be you
Exactly.
read about the life journey of a woman, which she has depicted in Chandan Woods, or if
Mm,
be you read the trilogy of stories which she has written for children,
yeah.
her thought process used to work according to the situation. So
Mm,
that very clearly tells her nature, her the kind of acumen, her attitude towards life, towards her
yeah.
grandchildren, and I mean towards anybody. I think she
True.
made relation with whosoever or anybody who came in her life, even for a
Exactly.
Yeah.
moment. Right, Pravina?
Exactly. That's
It
that's
was there. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. She had a huge sense of curiosity about
mm,
people, and moment she would meet somebody new, she was an extrovert, a complete and I mean intrepid extrovert. I mean, so
okay.
she's the kind of person we would walk into. You walk into a movie theater for your show, and you're 10 minutes early, and she's looking around, and next thing, with her walking stick, I see her, she's chatting with somebody, and I say, who's that? And she says, I don't know, she's just such a lovely girl, and her mom is this and her dad is that. And I said, excuse me, do you know her? She said, no, I just met her. So, there's no harm. And next thing you know is that
Yeah.
they're, talking to each other. And she always reached out to the underdogs and the person who was deprived in some way.
Needs help.
So you'll see in Chandan Woods, I mean, I asked her, I said, who are you actually, who's your target audience for this book? And she
Mm,
said, beta, it's not all these intellectuals, with lofty thoughts. Okay. Ideally, this book should go to people whose second language is English.
mm,
It's not the
okay.
primary language.
Yeah.
And she said, I have purposely used very, very simple,
Simple language.
um, I've used very
Right.
simple language. I've used a lot of
Mm,
adjectives. I've,
mm,
I've created pictures because the whole setting, is very colonial and very la-di-da, and there's a boarding
mm.
school, and then
And
whatever.
very minute details, with very minute
Yeah,
details, she has explained all the situation, like the
yeah,
dance scene in the school, or be
yeah,
it the
Yeah.
yeah,
forest area or the gathering. So very minutely she has done the work on that.
yeah. So she's
That's
her
that's the
thing was
beauty of her. That's the beauty of her because she has literally lived the life. Literally lived with anything, and not just
mm,
living things. I think she's even connected to the non-living things as well. Like how
yeah,
she's mentioned. the, that's great attitude because I've
Yeah,
just read it somewhere 2 days back. That people have literally forgotten to live the life.
correct.
They hardly remember seeing sun in the morning. When the
Correct.
sunrise happened, when the sunset happened.
Exactly.
Morning, noon, and night. So we have literally lost
Exactly.
everything, yeah, around us. So we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
just so rushing into
Yeah.
materialistic
We
things
have
all
no
the
time
time.
for each other also. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very sad that I
Mm.
think the key to all this is that uh, our mothers were them. At least my mom was the type that when I walked into a room to say something to her, she would put down whatever she was doing.
Oh.
She even her phone, which she was so addicted to
Mm.
by the towards the end,
Mm.
she would put it down and her entire attention would be on what I was saying.
Mm.
So that was a fantastic quality, and I think that's the reason why
Exactly.
people reached out to her because she was a damn good
Yes.
listener. She was a
True.
very, very
This is
good
another
listener.
this is another
Interested.
quality of her which needs to be learned. This is another
Yeah.
quality, and I'll make it a point.
Yeah, I know. I'm still
Yeah,
Yeah,
trying.
I think her whole life,
yeah.
everything. There's so many things to be learned from her. Like
Sort of
she has
extra.
been an
And
incredible.
Pravina, one more thing. There is one more incident which happened in the while she was in the hospital in her last days. You had told that she just wanted to give away her bed to one of the
Yeah,
young
yeah,
ailing
yeah,
patient,
yeah,
or yeah.
yeah. So what happened was that after her surgery, she was recovering well and she was due to be discharged in a few days. And we had already started the physiotherapy, and I would play that song. Everybody was kung fu fighting, and I would make her box because those are the kind of exercises that were needed. So I'd say, kick your legs and box your hands. And she said, "Oh my God, are you sure? I'm sure we're disturbing the neighbors." I said, "Don't worry, they'll dance also." So I had the music blaring, and then she said something to me. She said, "Beta, if something goes wrong," she said, "I'm not feeling great from inside. I'm getting this. If something goes wrong, please don't put me on life support and keep me alive with machines. If I
Mm.
get sick, please give my bed to somebody who needs it." I think she, um, I think she knew that she
Mm.
had got COVID at that time. She didn't go in as a COVID
Oh.
patient, but she got it in the hospital. And then it was
Oh,
just
she
tragic
just
because
recently passed away, is it?
in June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So then she was shifted to the ICU, and the hospital, they were feeling
Mm.
really guilty about everything that had happened. So they used to allow me to go and visit her inside the ICU, and she sat up, and again, I made her whatever,
Mm.
clowned around with her and stuff. And she said, "I don't want this. Give my bed to somebody, please. Just, let me go. Give it to somebody
Mm.
else." And because there was such a rush, every ICU bed was taken, every
Yeah,
bed was
Yes.
taken,
Yeah.
true.
a terrible situation. And then suddenly the doctor called me up and he said, "We're shifting her out of the ICU into a ward." And I said, "How can you do that?" So he said, "We've explained it to her, and she said, okay. And she wants to be moved out of here."
Mm.
So, yeah, she had always said that, "I don't want to be a burden to anybody, and please just let me go. It's my time." So, yeah.
Great women. Yes. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming today, both of you, Vandana and Pravina. That's been a lovely talking about such a wonderful lady. It's unfortunate that we didn't have her here to speak, but still, she literally lived through your words, and yeah. So I'm so happy
Thank you.
that I've Yes, I've met you guys, and
Hope we could bring some justice to her
oh
since
yes, yes,
and
definitely.
Thank you.
she's watching
So
us
her
from the
books,
stars. And
yeah, her books are available on Amazon. How do you?
yeah, the books are available online on Amazon and Flipkart in India. Yeah,
Hmm,
anybody can
oh,
go for it.
okay, awesome. So thank you so
Thank
much
you
for your
so much.
time.
Thank you so
Thank
much for this
you.
opportunity. You've been wonderful, and I feel very privileged, very honored, and really feel a lot of love for all of you and the wonderful work you're doing. Thanks so
Thank you
much.
so
And thank
much.
you so much, Pravina and Pick a Book Club, for all your
Yeah,
Thank
support throughout. Really, Sona, that means a lot. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We are
Thank
so
you.
grateful to all of you. Yeah. So we have
Thank
some
you.
nice comments going on when
Yeah.
going in. Yeah,
Thank
Mika
you.
Kaul says, "Great listening to you, ladies. Looking forward to grabbing my copies of Zora Ma'am's
How
books."
sweet. How sweet.
Yeah,
Thanks.
even I'll be looking forward to it. Definitely, we should have her books in our library for sure, because my
Thanks.
daughter is an avid reader and she loves it for
Oh, good.
sure.
Good. Thanks
Thank you
so
That's
much.
so much.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
See you all again next. Yeah. So that's it, ladies and
Same here.
Bye.
Bye
gentlemen,
bye.
from us. Yeah. So see you all again next week with some beautiful book and beautiful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Yeah. Bye.